Get YouTube going. Guys, we're trying to go live here. Hopefully this is working out. I just want to check all my settings, making sure you guys get notified. Looks like it's working. Hey, we're live. Pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool stuff. Not only am I live on Facebook right now, I'm also live on YouTube. Two places. Can you believe it? Two places. I think. You can put in the comments if you can hear me there. I've got like two computers going here too, which is a little distracting, just a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I got some cool stuff for you. You're going to learn how to sell in just a few minutes. And I know some of you think, I don't want to sell. Oh my God, I hate selling. Selling's awful. Selling's a terrible thing. Selling is awesome. Awesome. And you need selling. I mean, selling is the thing that is really what life's all about. I'm not kidding you. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Let me get my volume off on this computer, and it's on this computer. So I got two computers going. Pretty cool. So I am a salesman. Yeah, that's pretty bad, isn't it? That's pretty bad. Not only that, is I used to be in the automotive industry. Oh my God. I never knew that, JR. That's terrible. You know what? Everybody is driving cars. It's not so terrible. And everybody needs cars. It's not so terrible. But here's the thing. We all need to sell. I know this for a fact. I mean, you think if you go to church, right, that I used to have a friend who was a preacher at a Baptist church, and he says it was the toughest sales job in the world. He said, I got one book and nobody can agree on it. It's really tough, and he had to sell people in joining the congregation. And, if you're a parent, what do? You sell, right? You sell your kids on having good manners and making their bed and brushing their teeth and eating right. Dang, if you can't convince people to do things that are good for them, then you're not going to do well in life. You just won't. And that's really kind of a shame because so many people, I'm looking over at this computer here. Hello, Syed. How you doing, man? Good to see you. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm terrible with spelling and everything, so I apologize for that. But if you can't sell, you're not gonna do well in life. I'm telling you that life ain't for you if you can't sell. Now, when I say sell, you only want to sell stuff to people that it's gonna benefit them. If it's not gonna benefit them, don't sell it to them. I mean, that's the wrong thing to do, right? So when we talk about selling, I'm not talking about making people buy things they don't want to buy. That's wrong. That's just flat wrong. That's not what you want to do. Your goal is to sell people things that's going to improve their lives or solve their problems or help them out. A doctor's got to sell you on taking a pill or on doing some type of health regimen or whatever, right? And should that doctor be a poor salesperson, it could harm your health. If you say, well, this doctor told me to do these things, I don't believe it. He didn't convince me that that's what I should do. And you end up getting sicker or you die, then, he's a poor salesman and that's going to hurt you. So, understand what selling is first before we get into these techniques. And I'm going to get into the techniques in just a second. And I got to tell you, have you ever heard of this one? Sell me this pen. Just sell me this pen. You've heard that, right? That was in a movie. I won't even mention the movie now. But how would you sell this pen? I got two pens here, by the way. This one here is, I don't know, it's like one of those box where you get like 24 in a box from one of those office supply places. This one here is a pilot's pen, okay? This is what the captain of an airplane uses, and it's all smooth and cool, and it's got gold inlaid in it. And this one here sells for about $300. This one here probably sells for about 10 cents. They both do the same thing. They're both ink pens. And I'm gonna wait till the end, but I want you to guess why somebody would pay several $100s for this pen and only 12 cents for this one. And they do the same thing. Literally, there's no difference. No difference whatsoever. They do the same thing. But why would somebody spend so much money for this pen, right? I already gave you the answer, by the way, and they wouldn't spend any money for this pen. But before I get into all that, and then I'm going to tell you the answer at the end, so don't worry about that. Hey, do me a favor, since we're just starting out, if you would click that like button there and put a comment. The comments matter so much. It's like, if people don't comment on videos, then Facebook and YouTube doesn't show it to anybody. So unfair. Do me a favor, smash that like button right now while you're watching. I'll give you a second. Okay, you got it done? I really do appreciate it. Do that. Just hit that like button right now. And don't forget to comment. Say, I like this, I don't like this, or hello, JR, whatever you want to say. But let's get into selling, because selling is so very important. And I got to tell you, that has been the number one benefit that I've had at marketing products online, is being able to sell, because I understand that you have to meet people's needs and solve their problems, and if you do that, you don't have to force anybody to buy anything you have. And if you've really convinced them that they need whatever you've got, they'll pay almost anything for it. I mean, I've charged thousands of dollars an hour in coaching, because people say, oh my God, I really want that. I know that I'll get more money back than what I put out. And by the way, later on I'll do this. I don't think I did it, but I'm going to put a link in there. I am taking on a few coaching students, and I won't charge you thousands of dollars an hour, but I take on a few a year to help along in their business. And after this video, I will put in the description. I don't think I can do it now. I can't do it now, but I'll put in the description an application if you want to apply for that, because I'm also going to give away a $1,500 free blueprint call. And you don't have to buy anything to get that. You just have to be selected based on your application for me to talk to. So it's real simple. So let's get into the selling thing here real quick. Let's talk about it. So we know right now that selling is important. I hope I've convinced you of that. Selling is super important. But now here's the thing that you've got to understand. People do not buy based on logic. They don't buy based on logic. They don't do it. And you're going to say to me, well, sure they do. They figure out, what the best price and what the features and benefits. No, they don't. They don't. They just don't. I mean, I'm telling you, they don't. And I'm going to give you an example of that. Like I said, I was in the automotive industry for years, and I used to have people come in and say, well, you know what? We don't really need this car. We're just kind of looking. Really? You know what? The hundreds of people that bought last month didn't need a car either. And here's how I know they didn't need a car. They drove in to the car dealership. They drove into the car dealership. And I would say a good 99% of the people would tell me, we're not buying anything today. We're not buying anything. We're just not going to buy. And of course, a lot of them did, right? But they had that mindset that, I'm just not going to buy anything. I'm not going to buy it. This guy's going to try to sell me something. I'm not going to buy it. And, if you say people buy based on logic, you would say, well, people buy a car because they have to have one, and they don't have to have one. And the truth is, a lot of people in the world don't have cars. They can walk. If they live in the city, it's more of a hindrance than anything else. I was talking to my wife about that the other day. We like our cars. We like our freedoms. We like to be able to get around. But you know what? You don't have to have one. What could you do? What you could do is you could take public transportation. You could jump on a bus. You could take an Uber every single day. There's way you could walk. Now people are gonna say, well, it's too far for me to walk. Well, in some countries they walk 10, 20 miles. Well, I'm in the US, you can't do that here. You could do it. The thing is, emotionally, you want a car because it solves some of your emotional needs. Maybe it's status. I used to tell people, would you buy a luxury car if nobody could see you in it? The majority of the people tell me, no, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't buy a fancy sports car if nobody could ever see me in it, or a nice luxury Rolls Royce or a Cadillac, because what's the point? So what they were really doing is they were buying these cars based on emotion. It was not based on the fact that they had to have a car. That's just not the case. So the first thing you've got to understand when you're trying to sell somebody something is it's an emotional buy, okay? It's something that you've got to get them to want to buy based on emotions. If you can do that, okay, if you could do that and you can make it fun and you can make it solve their problems, you're probably going to sell the car. I mean, people buy for all kinds of reasons, for status. They buy clothes because they want to present a certain image. But as far as clothes go, you could buy everything at Walmart. You really could, but people choose not to do that because they have other reasons. There's emotional reasons. Maybe there's a particular brand of clothing they want to show off, right? And that particular brand maybe says something about them. It says, hey, you've got some money, you've got some status. Okay, so that's number one. First off, they buy based on emotion, not logic. Number two, people don't buy their way into anything. They buy their way out of something. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple examples of that. They don't buy a suit because they want a suit. They're buying their way out of looking bad when they go to that dinner or when they go to that job interview. They don't want that to happen. There's that fear in there. So if I was selling a suit to somebody, I may say to them, imagine when you meet with your next client and they see you in the suit, what they're going to think, right? Because everybody wants to deal with somebody successful. If you come in there all frumpy and you've got an ill-fitting suit and you don't look good, odds are that person isn't going to be as apt to buy from you, right? Now, the amount of money that you spend for an object is in direct relation to the ability to understand your marketplace problems and pain points. If you can describe their pain points more than them, and they feel like you understand them, they're going to give you more money. It's really that simple. So you really kind of have to get in their heads. I know when we had people come into the car dealership, I would always tell the salespeople, never walk up to anybody and say, can I help you? Never. Worst thing in the world to do. And here's why. Because a husband and wife, if they're going to buy a car and they decide they want to go out and buy a car, here's what they do. This is the conversation they have. They look at each other and say, look, we need a car. We want to get one, but we're not going to let anybody talk us into it. We just want to go out. We want to find a car that we like. We maybe drive a couple, see what they're like. And then we want to get some payments. We will find out what the price is, find out what the interest rate is. Maybe we can figure out what our car's worth. And then let's come home and then we'll decide on it. Because we're not going to buy a car today. We're just going to go looking. Now, that's what's in their heads. So if you walk up to them and say, hey, can I sell you a car today? Guess what they're going to say? No. Matter of fact, why don't you just go away? And they may not even be likely to even look at cars. Maybe they feel intimidated, and they certainly aren't going to drive your car. But if that same salesperson walked up to them and said, hey, welcome. I just want to let you know there's no pressure here. Don't feel obligated to buy anything today. Well, that's different. They aren't hearing that from salespeople. As a matter of fact, while you're here, I want to provide you all the information you need. As a matter of fact, if you want to drive some cars, feel free to drive them without obligation. If you want prices, payments, interest rate, even what your car's worth, I want to give that all to you. And then if you want to go shop us and compare all that, I want you to feel free to do so. Is that fair enough? And I would end it with, is that fair enough? And the people would look at each other and are like, that's exactly what we said at home. I like you. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we want to go look at your cars. We want to drive your cars. But here's something funny that happens. If they know that I understand them and I'm doing those things, and they go out and they drive my car and they spend an hour or two with me and we build rapport and they like me and they like the car and we get inside and they say, well, let's look at the payments. And they sit down and start going through payments. They get emotionally involved and they've spent time with you. And if they spent time with you, guess what they're more apt to do? Buy the car. So it's all in the beginning. If you can get across in the beginning, and tell people this when they're doing a sales page or sales letter or whatever, if you can spell out all of those pain points in the very beginning that they're having and say, look, I understand you. I know where you're coming from. And I want you to know that I want to help you with those things. Okay? Now, that's number 2. Number 3 is really kind of interesting, and it goes back to these 2 pins right here. What is it about these 2 pins? Why would you spend hundreds for this one and only spend 12 cents for this one? Why is that? This here has no story. It's got no, it's cheap too. It's plastic, right? So you could give it a little bit that this is metal and it's got gold and all that stuff in there. But in the beginning, do you remember I told you what this pin was? This is a pin that a pilot of an airplane uses, the captain of the airplane, right? There's a story behind this. This is important. And guess what? When somebody has this pin and they buy this pin and somebody else uses their pin, if they loan it out, I was really leery about loaning out pins because they normally don't come back. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to pass that story on. They're going to say, you know what? This pen is kind of unique because this is used by pilots of airplanes, and this is a very high quality pen, and it's weighted, and it's got this gravity thing in here where the ink always comes out in case they're writing and don't know how they're going to be flying, right? And that's why this pen has so much more value than this pen right here. It's the story, man. It's the story. So number one, you got to understand they buy based on emotion. Number two, you've got to understand their pain points. And if you understand their pain points and you can describe them and you can solve them, you're doing good. That's number two. And number three is they buy stories. So if you can hit on those three things when you're out there trying to sell and you're doing a sales pitch, and you're going to have to sell. I don't care what your product is. I don't care if it's home decorating. I don't care if it's lawn service, whatever. You've got to sell. I don't care if it's raising your kids, like I told you. You've got to sell them on it. You can't just look at your kids and say, don't do that because I said so. How well does that work? But if you sit down and say, if you do this, this can happen, or this can happen, and I want the good things for you, and I want you to be healthy and happy and enjoy your life, and this is why I'm asking you to do this thing, and you can tell them a story, man, makes all the difference in the world. So I hope this helps you out. If it did, do me a favor and put a comment. Did I mention that? Smash that like button. I mean, hit it hard. Hit that like button really hard. The harder you hit it, the more liked this video is, right? Well, maybe not. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, since we are live on YouTube and Facebook all at once, that's pretty cool. Let me get back to this other screen here. I've got all this software stuff now that I'm trying to get accustomed to, and I think it's working out well. So anyhow, if you liked this video, say it. Say, hey, I like this video, good information, I can use it. What were your experiences with selling? What do you think of selling? Do you think selling's good or bad? I mean, do you agree with me? Put it in the comments down there. I would love to hear it. If there's a subject that you want to learn about, make sure you put that in the comments too. Now, I've got a free course that I'd like for you to check out. It's not in the comments yet, but I'm going to add it there. If you aren't seeing this live right now, it will be in the comments. Done. Hi, JR. Jackie. What's up, Jackie? I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. I appreciate. You're an anniversary follower. That means that Jackie's been following me for at least a year or more. That's very cool. I appreciate it, Jackie. Very, very cool. So that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening to my video. I really do. If you want more training, of course, check out my channel. We have a couple groups. We have the Art of E-Commerce Success. I'm also going to put in the link. I have a book there. If you don't have a product to sell, I wrote a book on how to find profitable products to sell online. Pretty cool book. It's like $5.60. I mean, it's really cheap, but it will help you out and it will help you find some cool products. In addition to that, I told you I'm going to put in the description section, where you can get a free course that I did. It's a really nice course, several videos, walks you through different steps, and that's free. So check that out. And then I also have my inner circle if you want to check that out. My inner circle is a special group of people. And if you click on that link where it says inner circle, you can go there. And when you do, you can watch a free video. You don't have to opt in. You don't have to give me your email. You don't have to give me a credit card, nothing. And you can watch it for free. So that's pretty cool. Guys, I appreciate you listening. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, to like it and turn on notifications and subscribe. You got 3 things to do, man. Whew, a lot of work. You've got to subscribe, you've got to like it, but click the bell thing. The bell thing's so super important because when I do a live video like this, or when I upload a video, it's going to tell you that I did that, and then you can run over there and watch it real quick and get this free training. That's pretty cool, right? All right, guys, I really appreciate it. I'm out of here, and you guys have a great day.